Hi and welcome to this week's energy forecast. I'm Rachel Thompson-Phillips, the creator of the BEYOU Oracle Cards and also of the Sacred Oracle online program. This week's overall theme is called Self-Care Mode, and it's for the week of October the 11th through to October the 17th. Let's go in and explore the gorgeous messages coming through the cards this week. Monday and Tuesday is the card of grounding. Wednesday through to Friday is the card of solitude, and the weekend's message is hope. Now, with the beginning of the week with the card being grounding, it's because there's been so much of a heightened intensity of emotions and energy, and it feels like you've been on a seesaw and 1 minute it's up and next minute it's down, and it's finding it a little difficult to neutralize emotions. And so therefore, as you know, emotions gauge our actions. And so therefore we are at that point where we're sort of like, go, stop, go, stop, go, stop. And we're getting frustrated because that's also consuming a great deal of energy. What we want to find is this nice even keel where our emotions can start to become neutralized, and we can do that through grounding. So grounding is about I'm going to say 3 key elements with this message this week. The first is to restore balance. When we do grounding, our breathing starts to slow down and normalize. Therefore, we start to get a clear head. The next is for that emotional balance, is that when you have that clearness, you get clarity, and therefore your emotions start to become balanced and therefore not triggered by anything or leaving your energy feeling scattered and crazy. The third is about being able to go in and to be able to have a look at cutting away any energetic cords that you feel have been draining your energy or pulling you in directions that you don't want to go. And that is where heightened, intense emotions can actually deviate us from the direction that we want to go in. So grounding is also about course correct. So it brings us back to being able to go in within our own self and go, hey, am I actually going in the direction that I want? Am I holding myself accountable to mastering my emotions? Because I know that my emotions gauge my actions. So are my emotions and actions reflecting the direction of what I want? So they're very deep questions, and therefore you'll know that when you do that grounding, how amazing your nervous system feels, because our nervous system has become very drained of late. And so therefore with the grounding, it switches off our nervous system that has been in hypersensitivity and brings it back to equilibrium. Therefore, you can catch your breath and find that you can make clear and concise decisions because you have clearness in your mind. So that's Monday and Tuesday. So you may find that feel into what feels right for you. You know, there's lots of free YouTube grounding meditation. Some people like to be able to just walk around in the ground and set the intention that the Mother Earth energy will enter in through the soles of their feet. But I would say that due to this week all around the self-care mode, it's going to be something that you'll be required to do more than once a day. So the moment that you start to feel that your emotions becoming triggered, or they're moving back into that high breathing and anxiousness or stress, it's a really great time to just go in and do the grounding exercise. Okay, so with moving on to midweek with the card message being around solitude, it's all about being able to understand that if you're not where you want to be, and that's okay, that it's time to get out of your own way and start looking at where are you holding yourself back. What excuses have you been hiding behind? Or have you felt like you've just wanted to give up, yet that deep inner voice, that soul essence, that connection with your deepest truth is saying to you, you can't give up. But you're needing that little moment of retrieval. So going within and remembering that we all have the answers that you ever need, and they are within. And this is where taking that little contemplative time to just sit in the stillness and being able to, because you will have caught your breath, because you have your emotions all neutralized, you've got this time to go in and start actually asking some really powerful and transformative questions to yourself, and know that your soul and your source will deliver insightful messages, but you've got to be able to go in and ask those hard questions, which sometimes we can be a little bit daunted by because we're afraid of what the truth is. But I believe that if you're already asking the questions, you already know that, but sometimes it's nice to get that full confirmation that, yeah, it is me that's holding me back. And the gorgeous thing that comes from it is that once you recognize that and accept it and honor it and embrace it, that's just been something that you have been doing, and that is okay, because we are all here learning lessons. You're also reminded of how powerful you are, that if you can hold yourself back, you can also let yourself go and surrender and move forward in the directions that you want. We really are being very called to a point of taking a raw, honest and transparent approach to where we want to be, to take that self-accountability, to be able to understand that we are so much more than our thoughts and our emotions. We are an encompassing energy, and if our energy wants to be able to attract, or you want to step into that space that is the energy of what you want, you've got to be able to do this work, because we have over this year done a lot of doingness aspects. Now we're moving into a lot of beingness. Be the energy of what you want to attract. Be the energy of how you want to show up. Be the energy of what it is that you want your life to look like, and be in that energy frequency now, not waiting for it to occur and then you'll show up as that version of self. It's like the expression, you've got to show up first before, and then the universe jumps in and supports you every single step of the way. But you've got to show up and make that commitment. So this is where the solitude energy is coming in, to just be able to learn to identify and become comfortable with the energy frequency of what you want, because sometimes that can be quite different. And so the gorgeous thing with grounding is that you've grounded your energy, then you start to recognize, well, what is the energy of the frequency of what my dreams, goals and visions are? How does that feel within my own self, so that you can almost be introduced to it in a new way, where you can start to get familiar with that, so that you can start to recognize the moment you're out of that familiar energy frequency and knowing what to do to bring yourself back into it. So this is a wonderful way where it can be, I'm not gonna lie here, is in it can be challenging, especially if you are someone that is a doer. You take action, you get shit done. To be able to sit in the beingness, we can sometimes have conflict inside of our mind, thinking, well, it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything. And so therefore we put it on the back burner. And this is where we need to be able to have that understanding on a soul level that you are doing plenty of work, even if it's not showing up on the outside just yet. You are doing a lot of work by practicing being in the beingness. So it's a wonderful moment this week. And then as we move forward to the weekend's message, it's also about the faith, hope and belief. When you have grounded your energy and got that clarity, then there's that accountability, self-assessment direction that you want to go in. That's where we start moving into the space of taking the action, because we know exactly where to filter it. At the moment, it's sort of been a bit like octopus arms, as in like there's all these different tentacles that are taking precedence over your energy. Now that it's all being channeled and brought back into this much more harmonious state, a lot of those tentacles fall away, because you're like, these are only the areas that I wish to be able to work on. And I'm going to give a clear directive intention that anything that's outside of that, I'm not going to the message that comes through is that shiny syndrome. It's like you make that intention, this is the direction that you want to go, and then all of a sudden something over here appears and you're like, oh, well, I don't want to miss out, so I'll go over there and I'll suss that out. You're going to find that once you have that clarity and that groundedness and that self-certainty within your own self, you're going to go, okay, well, there's that shiny thing over there, but I remember that I used to chase those shiny things, and all that did was deviate me away from what I want. I'm so conscious of this, and my belief in knowing that I am in charge. I am the creator of my own destiny. So I'm also going to get out of my own way by recognizing these lessons that I've learned, that only going over there is taking me further away from what I want. So by shiny syndrome, I'm staying in this direction, and this is where I'm going to go. And you'll find that the more that you do that, the more that it strengthens that conviction of self-belief within your own self, because you'll be like cheering yourself on, because you're like, winning, like I wasn't deviated from this, or I've learned to have enough courage to be able to say no, or I have enough courage to say yes to all the things that encompass the direction that I want to go in. This week is going to bring forward not only just a lot of self-care mode, because a lot of times we think of self-care as in the fact of soaking in the bath and going for a beautiful walk. And yes, don't get me wrong, they do have those elements, but self-care mode is also about that self-accountability, understanding that you are being called to really step into your power. And that is all governed by the choices that you make. And you are remembering choices that have taken you away, and remembering that conviction in yourself. And it's almost as if your posture gets stronger, and there is more of a, if you ever have a look at someone that's really confident, their posture is just beautiful. They carry this essence around with them because of their postural state. You never see a confident person like rolling their shoulders forward. So you may find that there is more of an openness and an expansion in through your heart chakra area, because you're drawing your shoulders back and giving yourself permission to step into that heart-centered space of going, this is what I want. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to give it my all. And I'm going to commit to myself and the direction and the version and the visions that I know that I am capable of, and also knowing there will be an abundance of support that comes through from my cosmic team, being your soul and source. But I need to be able to take accountability for my role in the cosmic team, because it's you, soul, source. Soul and source, they're always showing up for you, but you haven't been showing up for yourself up until now. So this is this really wonderful moment that as you are stepping into that and taking the action, working on the beingness, and then doing the actionable steps where you are committed to saying yes to all things that vibe, everything that you desire, there is a new confidence, a resounded confidence that starts to show up in your physical structure. And therefore that also becomes strengthened through your auric field. So it makes it so much more easier to be able to attract more of what you desire. So I wish you an incredibly amazing week. So much love to you. Take care. And remember, you are more powerful than you remembered. This week, you're going to be awakened to your own power and potential and possibilities. And it's the veil is getting thinner and thinner and thinner from the excuses. Before, we used to be able to hide behind them. Now there is this inner strength that is stepping forward, that's going, you are holding yourself back. Let's get on track and let's move forward. And yes, those habits may be repeated, but the beautiful thing is that you are moving through those steps so much more quicker. And that is where the power is in the learning, because you're not getting stuck back in those old places anymore, because you can recognize that this is not healthy and this is not where you want to be. So never get down on yourself how many times you revisit the self-accountability. The more you do it, the more you learn to understand yourself, the more you're reminded of how powerful you are. So that remembrance and you're awakening to your confidence and belief in yourself. So if you receive all of those things, then it makes no difference how many times we revisit those things, because every time you revisit it, you're also going to recognize those qualities, and that's never it's never a bad thing. So as I said, much love, take care, look after yourself, and remember, self-care mode. Look after you first. See ya.